As leader of the largest socialist communist party in Europe, that white intellectually supremacist ideology that seeks world dominion over theism, nationalism and culturalism combined, Jeremy Corbyn finds himself the poster boy of the upper middle class voter who now seeks to dismantle the only thing every other class below them have, their country. Because I agree with Karl Marx, who believed all people are motivated exclusively by self-interest, I can understand why ethnic and religious minorities, welfare recipients, civil servants and the bourgeoisie who seek to launder their conscience for driving drop-top Bentleys vote for Labour. The most puzzling piece of the political demographic, however, is the predominantly white, paradoxically Brexit Labour voter. In order to understand these people, we must first put things into a historical context. These people would have been the former backbone of the British industrial base. Therefore, they are Labour at heart, welfare state supporters, who swing right on the migration issue, not because they feel their jobs are threatened, but their social welfare payments. It has to be understood, most of these people have not had meaningful employment since Thatcher, and Corbyn addresses the now defunct trade unions representing these groups every year, giving them ironically the very same spiel Donald Trump gives to American miners. These are right light. And if modern conservatism means grovelling to what are, by definition, National Socialists on every election cycle, then I don't want anything to do with it. Furthermore, it just proves what a disingenuous character Corbyn is, as I am in no doubt he's not ignorant of this fact. This hybrid demographic are responsible for the near defeat of the Conservative Party in the last election. The left have gained ground by swinging hard left, and yet the Conservatives find themselves still centre-right. Some argue Corbyn is the better showman, but I disagree. It had more to do with May's wooden, sterile campaign and the disastrous choice of attacking the pension system, the very age demographic that traditionally votes right. If anything, attack the young, unemployable social welfare recipient who are now 90% probable to vote left for obvious reasons. This allowed the left to do what the left does best: capitalise on another's misfortunes. Also, there was something of a cucking by May regarding the two terrorist attacks during the election. Add to this Corbyn's all but official support for the European Union, something of a turnaround for him, as he's gone from 7/10 certain to now undecided. Ultimately, it has been a policy campaign and leadership disaster for the Conservatives, of which Labour made good. However, even with the Conservatives giving a dire performance and Labour doing what it does best, the Conservatives still won the election, which suggests to me there is at least 20 points to be gained if the Conservatives had a good campaign. All said and done, there are three fundamental positives out of this election. There's been something of a misdiagnosis, as we are seeing the emergence of a new political demographic appear that was not activated during this campaign. There are minorities, maybe even potentially majorities within the minorities, that vote in now unexpected ways. Surely, reason dictates it is not a prerequisite to be a white, straight Christian to feel threatened by mass migration or terrorism. Moreover, as both of these continue, the plausibility of this theory increases. These voters don't show up in the polls or surveys for obvious reasons. However, it is a different story in the privacy of the voting booth. The new right, not far right, has to hold an olive branch out to this demographic and prove to these citizens that their rights, prosperity and future have a better chance of being protected with sane, rational, sustainable policies, or else they'll default to the loony, unsustainable left. Let's face it, the recent election was a result of the fallout from Brexit, and Brexit was won by Nigel Farage, with support from the Conservatives. Considering the initial odds stacked against it, it is clear that the right are more effective as the underdog. Prior to Brexit, the right always bemoans the ingenuity, resourcefulness and efficiency of the free market, and yet this was the first time it was applied in a political campaign. Trump being another example. In short, we must practice what we preach. There's obviously a seismic change happening in the electorate in the English-speaking world. The left have made it clear they're heading further left. Theresa May is Hillary Clinton centrism. Bernie Sanders may have swung it for the Democrats with his hard left rhetoric. In contrast, it was the right who won Brexit. The right also eventually won the US elections, not the centre-right. Identity politics has been very successful for both the Democrats and Labour. As discussed in previous posts, it is with reluctance, but the Conservatives had no other choice but to play this game and model themselves as the party looking out for the democratic majority, whose values uphold the rights of minorities. There's obviously a seismic change happening in the English-speaking world. The electorate is being polarised on both sides of the Atlantic. Our politics is volatile, vibrant, involving, unpredictable. Personally, I call this democracy, as we are still jarring and not warring. This is in direct contrast to the EU-SSR, whose Borg-like conformity has something of an almost sinister quality about it. The Germans may make the best cars, the French the best wine, but presently Britain and America are at the cutting edge of democracy.